Guys, this is the week of energy from August the 9th until August 15th. So this is the week of the solar eclipse in Leo at 20 degrees. And we're going to talk about all the energies meeting up to that and then what happens after. So on Sunday, August the 9th, we have Mercury entering Leo. And Leo is a fixed fire sign. It is our desires. It's our boldness. It's our desire to shine and show everyone. In Mercury, that means that we will want to be speaking about our bold new desires. And almost immediately while Mercury enters Leo, it has a square with Chiron and Taurus. And so this square could mean, because Mercury is communication, there might be some type of sensitivity or wound around speaking about something. Maybe there is something that makes you uncomfortable to talk about. And Mercury is moving very quickly, so this square isn't going to be a very long-term aspect. But definitely on Sunday, and it could be in the very early hours of the night. So it might actually be like late Saturday night kind of feel, but it will be early Sunday morning when Mercury is squaring Chiron. And then remember that we had Venus enter Libra on Thursday of last week. So we have these new energies in play around Venus themes or Venetian themes. We have a lot of new relationship energy coming through. We have people coming into our world. This is a really interesting time right now, especially when we're getting into this eclipse portal. It's kind of a magical time where you never know who's going to turn up. You never know who's going to show up. And we have a lot of fated encounters coming up. I feel like this is a very, a big window of fated encounters. So I would be very aware of who is coming into your world this week and next week. And just take note, because these are people that might be new collaborations. There might be some people that are new people coming in with these Libra energies. Venus is very supported in Libra, and this is the energy of relationships. So the moon is moving into Cancer this day, very early in the morning. And Cancer is the most nurturing sign. So you might have some watery emotions around Cancer themes. And the moon in Cancer will sextile Chiron and Taurus. And this will be some healing emotions around not feeling good enough to receive abundance or not feeling worthy enough to receive abundance. So there is really good healing emotions on Sunday. And then the moon is squaring Venus in Libra. And so there might be some emotions around these new relationship ideas. Maybe there is, now remember, Cancer energies likes to go into the past. So there might be some emotions around relationships that might not have worked out in the past, and we're revisiting them emotionally. And then the moon in Cancer squares Neptune and Aries, and you might not be seeing things clearly. When you have a square to Neptune or an opposition to Neptune, things are not always as it seems, because you're in this like thick fog of delusionment where you're not seeing things for what they are all the time. Now remember that Neptune is retrograde. So I feel like with a positive aspect, it's telling you more the messages of trusting your internal dialogue, trusting your internal intuition. But here with this square, I really do think it's a challenge around these dissolving boundaries or not. So it could be like not seeing something clearly. It could be dissolving boundaries around emotions, and then it just feels uncomfortable. So these are the energies on Sunday, and there we go. So Monday, we have a very different look. So Venus is moving forward and is connecting with the minor grand trine, including Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. And so what's happening here as Monday goes, as we move into Monday, is Venus in Libra is trining Pluto in Aquarius. Venus in Libra is opposing Neptune in Aries. And Venus in Libra is trining Uranus and Gemini. So this is an air grand trine. So on Monday, we start to see this configuration occurring in our aspects, this shape forming. And it's just one giant triangle, but I see a whole lot more going on. But for the air grand trine, is one giant triangle that is connecting 3 different points at air signs. So our air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. These are all intellectual thinkers. So there might be information that comes through and processes very quickly. This could be very intelligent communications. The thing about air grand trines is sometimes you can get stuck in the mind overthinking. There's like a lack of grounding, but there is Earth in this chart. There's not a whole lot of Earth in this chart. The only Earth we have is Chiron and Taurus. So there might be a lack of grounding. There might feel this unsteadiness of being in the mind and not actually being grounded. So we might need some extra grounding on Monday. And the moon in Cancer moves ahead and is squaring Saturn and Aries. So there's something emotionally that might be challenging on seeing something the way it is, seeing the truth in the matter. Because Saturn in retrograde wants you to see things for exactly what they are. He wants you to see the truth. He doesn't want you to be in delusionment. And we are going to hold in this air grand trine until Friday or Saturday. So there's going to be some really cool communications in your mind. Really cool downloads, I think. Some intellectual, innovative downloads. And I would definitely keep track on what is coming through the mind, because we're getting some really cool messages. And Venus won't be here forever, so make sure that you are taking stock of it while it's here. So on Tuesday, we have we have Mars entering Cancer, a water sign. And Mars in Cancer is not at its strongest. It's not at its strongest. It's a lot of astrologers say that it's debilitated. It's more passive aggressive and not like full aggressive. But Mars in Cancer is a nurturing type of energy. And so this could mean like you're fighting for your family, feeling very strongly around nurturing themes. So as Mars moves into Cancer, it's also going into the past. And it might see where it didn't win in the past, or things that didn't work out for him in the past, in past situations. And the moon is moving forward into Leo, which is a fire sign. And on Tuesday, the moon is activating the cradle configuration again. So it is going to slide up into that 3-4 degrees of Leo, where it is going to make contacts with each of the planets, the outer planets in the minor grand trine. And it is also conjunct Mercury. So there's some really cool energy between Mercury and the moon, and it can go. It's going to just mean your communications are reliant on your mood. So that can go either way. A conjunction is not good or bad. It will have a lot of other factors involved. But there is definitely going to be some powerful communications around how you feel. So maybe there's some bold communications about your new desires and how you feel about them. And so just to remind you of this configuration, the moon is going to be opposite Pluto. So we have Mercury opposite Pluto. So this can bring up some fears around saying something. This could bring up like almost like a power struggle on your voice. Maybe you don't feel like you can say something. Maybe there's fear involved here around speaking your new desires. Now the moon moves so quickly, it won't be here very long. The moon is also trining Neptune. So Neptune is helping the moon trust himself more internally in its desires that it wants to express. The moon is also sextiling Venus and Libra. So this is a very harmonious new friend or collaboration energy. There's something around relationships that harmonizes with the moon. And the moon in Leo is sextiling Uranus. So there is some really good innovative changes that we are bringing in that the moon is harmonizing with. So there's a really good change. It's trusting himself more internally. And Mercury's sitting right here. So all these aspects that the moon is having, Mercury is having it right here with him. So Mercury is also trining Neptune. So Neptune is giving Mercury this ability to trust himself in its communications of its new desires more internally. Like, trust what you need to say. Go ahead and say it. Trust what you need to say. And Venus is trining Uranus here because it's part of that it's part of that grand air trine. So remember, we still have Venus, Pluto, and Uranus all in this air grand trine. And what is actually happening here is it's creating this configuration, and I want to show it to you. So this is what the configuration looks like. It looks like a house or a temple. And we see this shape all the way till Thursday of this week. So this shape is called a temple or a house. And its apex or its top point is Uranus. And so as this solar eclipse comes through, the energies that are interlocked in this temple It serves as this like internal strategic control room where you might have some kind of dramatic ego cleanse or structural reset, but you have this independent, highly stabilized psychological system, and you're ready to process it without panicking. You also can be getting some radical intellectual breakthroughs through Uranus, especially because we have that grand air trine. So the information could be radiating through that apex, through Uranus, and have very innovative communications. So this house or temple, the pieces that are making up this temple and will make it up until the solar eclipse, is Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, Venus in Libra, and Mercury in Leo. And another way of looking at this is it is actually two kites. We're going to see it be more defined, I guess, on Wednesday, but it looks very defined on Tuesday. So the two kites that we have going through include that air grand trine. It's going to have an apex at Mercury in Leo. And we also have an apex at Neptune in Aries. So let's go ahead and turn the page here. And Wednesday is our solar eclipse. And our solar eclipse is at 20 degrees of Leo at 1:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now this is a new moon, so that means the moon and the sun are conjunct or both in the same sign. And this is happening for you in your Leo areas of your chart. And remember that Leo is a fixed fire. It wants to shine. It wants to be noticed. It is masculine energy. But it's outside of this temple. It's not interacting. It's not interacting with this temple at all. And it's almost like the solar eclipse is almost like a side wild card energetic that is completely outside of this configuration. And what I find that's happening here is making these two kites more powerful. So because of this energy with the temple or the two kites, even though they are not directly involved in the solar eclipse, it's making their messages a lot more interesting. So we have this fixed fire and this air grand trine. And I have like all the signs kind of highlighted, and we have like fire and air all through. So when you have fire and air, it's very, it can make big things. Even though Leo is a fixed fire, like a small fire, with all the air in this chart, it's stirring something up, some information. And the solar eclipse is seeded new beginnings. This is where something is starting. Something around your new desires is being seeded into the Leo areas in your chart. And you have two kites on both sides of this temple. And so let's talk about the first one in Neptune, where Neptune is the apex. So Neptune is directly across from Venus. And when you have an opposition with Neptune, you don't always see things exactly how it is. So this energy can read as highly idolizing someone, putting someone on a pedestal, seeing things through rose-colored glasses, not seeing things clearly for what they are. Or it can bring in like soulmate possibilities or soulmate potential. And since we have this very big energy with this solar eclipse, we want to make sure that we are being very aware of who is coming into our world. We have very new energies for relationships. And this kite, with Neptune being across from Venus, Venus is bringing or sending more people into your world, more collaborations, more new friend groups. And since Uranus and Pluto and Aquarius are on opposite sides of each other in this kite, trining Venus, you might be bringing in new, unique friend groups, but they're resonating with you your frequency. So there is something that you have in common, but they're new and unique and different. And with Neptune here, they might be showing up because of your willingness to be a spiritual leader in your group and step out with these new, unique ways that you're presenting yourself. And these people are coming into your world. With the other kite, we have Mercury. And Mercury is not quite conjunct Jupiter, but it's moving very close to Jupiter. And this is bold, new, creative communications. This is new endeavors. And this kite has Mercury across from Pluto. And with Pluto here, Pluto has this energy of, I have to do this. It's like you're compelled to do something that is uniquely you, because it's in Aquarius. You're encouraged to say something, to do something that is very uniquely you. And we do have this relationship with Venus and Uranus here. So this big, bold desires, these creative desires that you're ready to speak about. As Mercury gets closer to Jupiter, if there was any fears around this new bold creative desire that it received from Pluto, because not only will Pluto compel you to do something in that kind of configuration, but it could also bring up fears of not feeling like you should say what you want to say. But as you move closer, as Mercury moves closer to Jupiter, there might be less fears and more, well, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. This might be something you normally wouldn't think of. This is very action oriented. This is movement. And we have these two kites in our solar eclipse window. That's creating this house temple of protection. And if you do have any points that's sitting within this temple, like the points of the temple, you could feel this like protection of mental ease where you don't feel overwhelmed. And it could have a lot to do with this grand air trine, where the communications and the intellectual stimulation just flows very easily. And outside of this box completely, Mars in Cancer is sextiling Chiron and Taurus. So this day might also bring some real good emotional healing around any Taurus, Chiron in retrograde themes where you're not feeling worthy enough to accept abundance. With this Mars in Cancer sextiling it, there might be a healing energy that comes around. On Thursday, we move forward. I'm still seeing this temple, but the moon moves forward into Virgo. So we definitely have a different feel here for the moon. It's very, it could be critical. It could be attention to detail with its emotions. And the moon is trining Chiron and Taurus. So there might be some even more emotional healing around feelings of worthiness. The moon is sextiling Mars. So there's good vibes here with our energy or our ability to work. This could be themes of seeing something that we did in the past, revisiting it, and then healing it emotionally on Thursday. On Thursday, the moon also squares Uranus. So there might be something that is a challenge around these innovative changes that we're feeling. Mercury in Leo moves ahead and sextiles Venus in Libra. So there might be some really good communications with new friend groups or new relationships. And a weird transit that I just noticed, the moon forms a very quick, fast-moving yod, which is the finger of God. And this could be an emotional release valve, highlighting where your daily habits are out of alignment with deeper spiritual evolution or ideals. So the yod includes Neptune and Pluto in conjunct, which is a 150-degree separation with this moon, and they have a sextile between each other. So a yod could feel urgent, restless need to fix or organize something, but since the moon moves very quickly, it's not going to be a very long-lasting configuration. But I find it be very interesting to have that here the day after the solar eclipse. And I just wanted to mention it. On Friday, we do not have any really new energies, but the temple is breaking up. We do not have a lot of the same configurations. That temple is completely gone as far as being able to see it on paper. On Saturday, the moon moves into Libra, and Mercury in Leo is conjunct Jupiter in Leo. So this is very big, enthusiastic, optimistic ideas that you want to share your creative, bold vision about. So this is going to be a very cool day for speaking about your bold new creations or your bold new desires, sharing this with others. The moon in Libra is very balanced. It likes reciprocity. It likes equal give and take. And there is a square to Mars in Cancer here. So there is a challenge emotionally around Mars and Cancer. And this could be, and I'm not going to say Mars is always going to be a saggy britches, but this could mean like a very emotional Mars. And you're feeling this challenge within your emotions. Right? Mars in Cancer could be very passive aggressive. Not always acting on its aggression, but maybe mumbling something under its breath as it walks through the house. So there is some type of challenge around Mars and your feelings. And Mars is a masculine energy, remember? He's your drive. He's your ability to work. And he's also squaring Neptune. And so maybe there's some delusions around not seeing something clearly. This could be feelings of doubt or discouragement, not feeling adequate enough. You might be confronted by the consequences of past actions that you would hope go away, but you are being challenged to confront them without feeling hopeless. And the moon moves into kind of this opposition here with Neptune throughout Saturday. And it's going to slip into that air grand trine configuration that Venus was previously in. But it's also a kite with Neptune here. So the kite will bridge visionary outer planets with immediate emotional clarity. So it's almost like you're getting this immediate download on something and seeing it for what it is. Because we have that air grand trine again, there's effortless intellectual processing, very innovative collective networks, and social objectivity. This is because we have Uranus here, because we have Pluto here. This is very functional, goal-oriented. This is transforming abstract paradigms and shifting into personal realizations. So I feel like there's going to be some clarity given on Saturday with this kite configuration involving the moon. It's almost like you understand your emotions around something. You're very clear about your emotions around something. Alrighty then. So this is going to be the week's energy. I hope this is going to validate things that you're moving through, and keep in mind all the new people that are coming through, and the 2-week window in between the eclipses is a very magical time. You never know who you're going to see. You never know what's going to happen. So enjoy this magical time, friends, and I'll see you later.